Indigenous Rights Radio, because knowledge is power.
The 2025 United Nations Climate Change Conference, commonly referred to as COP30, is taking place from November 10 to November 21, 2025 in Belém, Brazil. The city is often referred to as the gateway to the Amazon rainforests. As usual, the annual meeting of the parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC, this global event has drawn a vast and diverse attendance. Participants include government representatives from 198 member countries, as well as delegates from UN bodies, civil society organizations, academia, and private sectors. Particularly notable presence is a large delegation representing indigenous peoples, women, and youth. This year's gathering is historic, as it has seen the largest participation of indigenous peoples in the conference series history, with more than 3,000 indigenous delegates officially registered. Cultural Survival has been speaking with indigenous leaders and their representatives to understand their priorities and demands for COP30.
My name is Johnson Cerda. I'm a Quechua from the Ecuadorian Amazon. I've been in the climate negotiations since 2000 for about 25 years now. And we are here in Belém, in Brazil, after the 10 years of Paris Agreement. In this session here, we are, as indigenous peoples, trying to influence to, place the main issues that we have on the table. The main topics for us at this moment is, since the convention is discussing on NDCs, they have actually to present, the countries, they have to present their own NDCs here. We would like to see if they have included the indigenous issues in the planning or in the future activities of the NDCs in the countries. We understand that they started like from the beginning with 20 countries only referencing on indigenous peoples, and we are expecting now to see a little bit more, but we feel like they are not doing enough and they are not recognizing or including our indigenous practices and knowledges in order to raise that ambition. So that is something that we are going to check together with indigenous colleagues and expecting to make some recommendations to include our knowledge, our topics. The second one, I would say that we are also a bit concerned about the just transition. Many of our colleagues in the Indigenous Caucus, they have said that the just transition is something that the governments are doing just business as usual, still using mining and affecting indigenous territories, and that's why some indigenous colleagues are really strongly putting observations on this kind of initiatives that is affecting their territories and their lands. And even the culture, the practices. So that's another thing that we are planning to influence a lot here, to see how in their implementation they recognize the rights of indigenous peoples, so I'm referring to countries, and also they respect the rights for us for free, prior, and informed consent. We are also trying to push the language on adaptation and agriculture, since there is a work plan for 40 years on agriculture. And last year in June, they had a workshop where we presented our concerns, our practices in the workshop, and we don't see a lot of that in the report. So in the meetings, we're going to say that we would like to see more about the practices, and then perhaps in the final conclusions document, they will include our topics. Since Paris to here, I see the language on the rights of indigenous peoples. Somehow it's helping, for us to influence on the negotiations, because our rights are recognized on the preamble of the Paris Agreement. So in the implementation, we're expecting to see on all the implementation, it's coming there. But the problem is that in the implementation of the projects, we don't see that they're implementing what is already in the preamble of the Paris Agreement, which is the rights of indigenous peoples. So that's the concern that we are having now, and trying to, as a colleagues, as indigenous peoples, trying to put on the table on the all negotiation streams. Many activities already decided before this COP are going to be discussed here in order to see how this is going to be implemented. And the government of Brazil, they have about 30 priorities, additional priorities, and many of them are related to our interests. And one of them, for instance, is agriculture, and many other topics. Direct access to the resources for us. And what we are expecting here is to, in that action plan, the government is planning, the COP presidency is planning here, we would like to insert the language on indigenous peoples there. The expectation is to see our issues in this action plan that's going to guide some actions for the future COPs. So that's what they're expecting, one. And the other one is, the language as usual, as I said, on agriculture, NDCs, and global stocktake as well, where we're going to say what we see and what is happening, and many other topics as well. So language, and then issues for the future.
For more information on the rights of indigenous peoples, visit cs.org and follow Cultural Survival on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Threads, and Blue Sky.